Well, I guess it's time for me. I guess I should be on here if we're going to be live. Oh, let me see if we can get old Mac in here. Oh, there's somebody in here, so we'll say good morning to whoever might be in here. It was a little bit cool this morning. I think it's 56 degrees. Oh, riding on Ruby. This is the weekend. Hey, my friend. I hope everything is fine with you. It won't be long. You'll be driving in the snow and ice. Oh, buddy. My prayers for you, my man. That's got to be scary. Let me tilt this booger down a little bit. There we go. There we go. I wonder, maybe I could square myself up a little bit better. I felt like I was out of square. Oh, there's Ray Gregory. Good morning. Ray, I tell you, I enjoyed this segment, this video you just released yesterday. I've never seen old Miss Piggy before, and I got to see her as you went by. That was fun. I've shared that with my family, and they done with you like they do with me. I don't even know if they even turned it on. Oh, it's another one of them videos. Oh, he's just in his riding motorcycle phase again. You know how he is. So I didn't get no feedback from my family, like nothing like that. They go, you know, I think one of these days I'll get me a cup of coffee and I'll sit down and watch Ray Gregory rides, and but not today. I think I'm gonna. My day's gonna be exciting. Hang on. That might be mail call. Might be bringing me something in a package. Don't look like he's slowing down. That's it. He's right on. Oh, damn. I went to bed last night at 11:30. I think he was still on my time. I made some comments, but then he had a lot of ladies in there, chatting back and forth. So I basically just waved my hand there a few times, and but anyhow, I went to bed at 11:30. Is he still carrying on live from last night, or did he start up another live one? I already look at. I should go and see before I turn mine on. Who all's live? Because if they've got something going on, I don't enter. I try not to interfere. But as big as the internet is, people can hop back and forth. See, I can run over there on my phone and see what Dave's up to. How's his hand today? It's going to be a while before we can get the cast off. He's got a lot of skin graft, I guess, on the back of his hand. I may have already went off the air. Let me see. No, I'm still working. I wish See, no, I can tell on the monitor if I'm live or dead. But it looks like I'm live. I think I'm gonna do it like this. Hang on. Hang on, we're gonna be doing some traveling. There we go. We've done some traveling. Well, Ray, have you got a ride planned up? Angelique and I were going to go riding tomorrow. We thought the hooligan was going to go riding, but I guess he's already planned another ride somewhere else. But we're thinking about going maybe back over to Mississippi to today and get us some more bacon. We should lay in a stock of bacon for the winter. And my dang freezer broke outside. I have a freezer in the garage, and I'm gonna have to replace it. Oh my God, I forgot. Ray, happy anniversary um, to you and Miss Katie, and I know it's going to be a big blowout. I'm sure. It's probably going to be a spectacular event. I don't remember what is the. Are you on the 25th anniversary? I think I took, let's see, on my 25th anniversary with Ruth, I believe we went to Gulf Shores, I believe. Yeah, Gulf Shores. Well, man, 25 years, that's a quarter of a century. And y'all still going strong. That's good. If you get over that hump, I think the rest of it is really easy. Yeah, we went. I believe on the 25th we went to Seaside, Florida. We have a friend that lives. He owns a house in Florida and Seaside. It's called the Chatham House. The guy that owns the house, his name is Richard Tubbs, and it's a tourist house. In other words, you get reservations. I mean, he don't rent us. We get it for free, but other people pay like $4,000 a week or something like that. It may have went up. The Chatham House is pretty spectacular. It's in that little gated community in Seaside where they have the houses all have what's called a widow's walk up at the top, where they go up there and walk around the top and look for their husband coming in from the sea, coming in from the Gulf. And they all have a theme. And when I say this is open for tourists, the tourist bus comes in and the tourist people get off the bus and they come through and they take a tour of these fabulous homes, multi-million-dollar homes. The Chatham House, if you look it up in Seaside, Chatham House is it's an open concept. They have a court in the once you come through into the compound, there's a court with a fountain and all that stuff, and then there's a over on one side you have a fabulous kitchen with 8-foot doors, 8-foot big old sea doors, and everything is on a nautical theme. And across the court over there is multiple bedrooms for guests, and it's really nice. And it's got an outdoor shower. You can go out there. You can go out, after you've been out, cross the road and go down there and swim in the Gulf, come back. The Chatham House was it was designed by some fabulous company. I'm not into all that crap either, but Ruth was. And we went down there for a number of years. And he owns Richard Tubbs. I think he got ill. The reason we quit going down there, he got ill. There was some kind of something that came up there, and she quit making a reservation to get in. There was some people that stayed there that was noteworthy that I saw when I went through the guest book. Walter Cronkite, the old news guy, he stayed there. Princess Di, with, I believe she had some of her children. They were young. They stayed there. Yeah, we're going to get in a ride in the video. I gave her the option either today or tomorrow, and she said she'd sleep on it. And it's going to be up to her if where she wants to go. She mentioned a few places, and I was the one that brought up Philadelphia, Mississippi. Not Philadelphia. Yeah, I guess it is Philadelphia. To go over and get bacon, and she likes that idea. I tell you what we like to do. The reason we eat up so much bacon, we'll take a tortilla, like a 12-inch tortilla, and we'll lay strips of bacon on the 12-inch tortilla, and then we roll that up. We put cheese, quesos cheese between each slice, right between the slices of bacon, spread it out. And then we roll this tortilla and we put it in our bacon dish. We usually put a little of that Pam butter flavored Pam in the bacon dish. And we'll make a couple of those and put them in the pan. And we bake them. And once they start to really bake real good, in that oil, we'll roll them over and get the other side. And then we'll chop them up in like little wagon wheels. And oh man, then you scramble up eggs, and on the side you got these chopped up little wagon wheels that's got all that crispy bacon inside. They're all cooked nice, and cheese. Ooh, some good eating there, boys. I tell you. Sometimes we don't even put them in the oven. We'll do them on the stovetop in the skillet. I've got a really large skillet that I bought back during our camping days. Ruth would used to love camping. It's a large skillet. I think it's 16-inch skillet. Might be a little bit bigger. You can easily cook a dozen eggs in it, but it takes up so much room on your stove when you got a big old handle. You set it on there, and it won't fit on two burners, but it's just fun to cook. I like to make a video while I'm cooking with the big skillet. What we'll do, guys, we'll have some bacon grease in our regular skillet, and we'll crack open 4 eggs into that hot bacon grease. And then I'll take about a half a glass, or not glass, but cup of water, and I'll, when it's starting to cook, I'll pour right between those 4 eggs, put my lid on it, and it goes psh, and then they stay sunny side up. But I myself, I turn mine over, and Angelique likes hers just sunny side up. Oh, Ruby, bring me a cup of coffee, buddy. She said she's going to get up this morning and get me some coffee because I whined and complained about it yesterday. But it didn't do me much good. Well, we got 3 people in here this morning. Did somebody slip in? I didn't see them. I'll tell you one thing, your camera sure makes a good video, Ray. I don't know what settings you've got on your camera, but I run a GoPro 11, and sometimes I'll shoot it at the highest resolution, then reduce it down before sending it up, and to reduce the amount of time it takes to send it up. But I put in larger videos usually, and I've got people that likes the longer videos, and I got people that hates the longer videos. So what are you going to do? Well, you boys, you're welcome to excuse yourself and go get you some coffee, but y'all come on back. Oh, well, riding on Ruby's back. Ray, get you some coffee, buddy. You might be like me. I'm waiting for my woman to get up, get me some coffee. I got some of these. Let's see, where are they at? I got them laying here somewhere. Oh, here we go. Excuse me. She gets me coffee, and I give her these, to go get me some coffee. But take a look and read what it says, if you can read it right there. Well, I'll turn it over this one. You'll be able to see it right here. Yeah, look right here. You can't even read it, I don't believe. Yeah, that look right by the other finger right here. COPY. She don't like my copy money. She wants the real thing. What can I say? Well, do you have Ruby, do you have plans? If you got you might have mentioned it before. Do you have any retirement plans? I never planned my retirement up. I was happy as a pig in mud. My career was just really getting started good, and I had so many great projects for our experimental group, and we had a schedule laid out over the next 10 years, and I didn't want to go away. But then Boeing bought another company. Y'all might have heard about it. It was called McDonald. What was the other name? The aircraft company out of St. Louis. They made a lot of great airplanes. McDonnell Douglas. I think Douglas had dropped out. It was only McDonnell. All right, so they needed to buy these uh, this company, but this agreement was they had to get rid of 9,600 people, 9,600. And since we were the parent company, they had to come up with a way to entice 9,600 from the roles. And they had categories set up that they wanted to get rid of. They wanted the majority of them at 9,600 to come from engineering. So they sent out an invite for us to join with the Boeing Aircraft Company, a separation policy from the company where they paid us rather large sums of money to leave the company. I was so sorry they had to pay me to leave. Well, we looked at their offer, and it looked like a really good offer. It was the one time in 75 years that the company had ever done that. It was called a golden handshake. I guess a lot of guys that works for various big companies are familiar with the golden handshake. But I took the thing home and we looked at it, and the expiration date, you had to be signed on the dotted line before June the 30th of 1995. And you had to be eligible. They only sent the letter out to eligible employees that would be eligible for the separation. I'm sorry to hear that, Ruby. But you enjoy what you do too. You got to enjoy anything to stay 39 years. So after giving it serious consideration, we decided it was an omen because the company had a one-time offer of this buyout, and the expiration date was June the 30th of 1995. And you had to be above the age, you had to be 55 years of age or older. On June the 30th, 1995, I turned 55. I thought, how many omens do I need? I'm turning 55 on the expiration date, once in a lifetime offer. And I said to myself, let's do it. And me and Ruthie, I signed on the dotted line, and they paid me handsomely. So on one day, the day I retired, usually when the company, on the date of your retirement, they throw you a big party. The company does. So they threw us a big party, but they threw a party for 9,600 people. So it's instead of disrupting their lives, they broke us out in groups. The group that I was with came out of engineering in Auburn. 9 of us that day retired. So they brought in their little marching band and set up everything up in the office complex and throwing us a party. Now, all the other people from the different organizations, they could come over and say goodbye to us during the working day and shake hands and say goodbye and get you little gifts. The company gives you some little gifts. Hello, Mr. Motorville, Virginia. We got Ray and the boys here, Ray and Ruby in here this morning. Good to see you folks in here today with us. Ray Gregory sitting right over there, and Ruby's right over yonder, and we're just sort of yapping along here this morning. Come on in, buddy. I think riding with Ruby, he's got himself a cup of coffee. I don't have one yet, but I will get me one. Ray and Ruby's gone. Oh, I see the scoreboard up there says I've got 6 people in here. No, there's riding on Ruby. I thought he was back. I knew he was. Yeah. Let me lower my camera. It makes me feel like I'm looking up. Yeah, get down here, eyeball. So I can look you in the eyes. Oh. Yeah, there we go. Well, we stayed up pretty late with Dave last night over in Australia. Lots of people was in there. I noticed on the scoreboard it went down. So, but the thing is, people come in and take a look and they go, "Oh, it's just that old man talking." Yeah, we're not going to pass up this weekend Ray to ride because we'd already thought we was going to go for. We knew we was going to go for a ride. We ride all the time, but um, we had been discussing about going and getting bacon. Did you see my motorbomb? Did you see my entry picture? You know when it shows I'm on before you click it to come on live. Did you see my picture there? My my eagle. Oh, okay. Well, I created that yesterday, and and it's just a label out of my coat. But I went in and made it and put my stuff on it, added my touch to it. So those patriotic people, when they come by and they see my eagle, they go, "Why, hell, I gotta go in and join in with him. He be American." Yeah, I'll take a look at it. I just added live from Arkadelphia, from the studios. Well, you're cooler than I am, Ray. I think I said I was 50. I believe I was 57 degrees. I believe that's what it said. I got to get me got to gather all this crap up and get me something tie it down. Well, when I'm out there working and on something, I get some dirt on my hands. I always do like this. That cleans your hands real good. It's like a little Brillo pad. Yeah, it's a Harley Eagle. It's the label in the back of my Harley jacket, inside of my jacket. I just went in and zoomed in and took the picture, and then I went in, we took it in my editor and put in old Mack on there. But you see, it says clothing on it, so that I don't know. It may not even be. I don't know why the pictures are not as clear as they should be, because that's a high resolution picture. But the webcam here, I don't know if it can't process a picture or whatever. It's not clear. No, it's really a strange thing. I'll look here. Let's say I'll use December the 25th. We all be gathering around on a cold, crisp December day here at my household. And I go over on the computer and look at weather, and it'll be here maybe 25, 28 degrees on Christmas Day. And at my sister's house in Seattle, above the 46th parallel. That's how high they are on the hemisphere. Up above the 46th parallel, that'd be 48, 49 degrees. But here's the deal. Come June, I'm down here at 99-degree temperature in June. They're at 48, 49 degrees in June. Suckers all humped up, them sweatshirts on. I said, y'all going for a picnic today? We're going up at the lake and we're going to do some picnicking. And no, we're gonna stay by that fire today. I haven't turned my heater off this year. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, you got to got your machine ready. I'm now over my oil change. I usually change my oil every 3,000 miles, and I'm at 31,100. See, I'm over now. Um, so I've got to get over there. Might be a good ride today. Just ride over there at Aniana, and it's only Aniana's 44 miles from here. Ride over there and get my oil changed. Probably would be the smart thing to do. Yes, I do. We run that. Now my company has the Boeing company has controlling interest in that oil company, They've been using it ever since it was a company. What the hell's the name of this stuff? I've got it out there in the garage. I usually buy a container of. Now my machine don't use no oil at all. Never. It goes 3,000 miles. You don't never. You can go out there and check it and never use any oil. Oh, I like Redline too, but I used to use a Redline. I tell you, oil I used to use when I was drag racing. I used to use that purple oil. Remember Royal Purple or something like that? It was a very good oil, man. It held carbon and stuff really good. Oh, you got 85,000 miles on it. I asked the people over there at the Harley shop when I should consider a top end, putting a new top in. And I, I, I maybe do the valves. It seems it starts really good. I think I got a bad batch of gas one time. Well, you saw in the video on Ray's video when I went to start the machine up, my motor turned over. I was really surprised. And then it fired to life and it run good. But I've had it happen 2 times where I had to turn the motor over a few revolutions before it starts. And the Harley, if it's going to start, will usually start as soon as it makes one revolution, it'll fire up. Amsoil, there you go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But the Boeing Aircraft Company has high interest. My nephew, he owned quite a few companies. That's Cunny's son, and he always had big drums of Amsoil in everything, all their racing machines, everything, whatever it had a motor or a gearbox. The Boeing Aircraft Company on the turboprops back in the days when they put in the gearbox Amsoil. You change your own oil, don't you, Ray? You notice in my parking area when I come in, I think it's 4 foot by 10 foot. There's a pit there. I dug it down and I poured it full of concrete. And so I have a good hard and a gravel carport instead of trying to jack up something in gravel. And I can also lay on that concrete and get under there and to get to the 3 plugs. But I'm not doing it anymore. I was doing it for a while. And now that I've gotten older, I can get down there no problem. It's getting back up. I look like it look horrible clawing my way back up, getting up my feet, finally getting my feet under me, what I think is my feet. Oh, you get a little ticket with synthetic. Um, I had them to check. We talked about one time over to Harley. You got hydraulic lifters, and they have an adjustable. And a lot of guys, when they get above 25,000 miles on them, they'll get those adjustable push rods. It's it makes it takes the slack out of where the maybe the lifter is not. When I notice when mine gets hot, when I'm idling, it'll drop below 30 pounds of oil pressure. But when I go above 2,000 RPM, it'll go back up to like 35 or whatever. I used to worry about 35 pounds of oil pressure, but in the manual, 35 pounds of running oil above 2,000 RPM, you're okay. my little old motor on my Harley has got a lot of heart, man. It has just really good RPM range. See, the couple that had it, they was just always stayed in the down low mode, and they never did rev the engine. And and I generally broke it in to go a little faster than what they would ride. And because if you go out there and hammer away, you got an engine that's got more than 20,000 miles on it. You build a ridge up at the top of the cylinder, and you start revving that thing up. Yeah, you get them rings bumping against that ridge up there. Well, it can cause them to use oil, or it can cause excessive wear. But if you slowly rev a little higher and rev a little higher, mine will go all the way up to the rev limiter. I wonder why that is. I don't know. It's 50 weight synthetic. Um, I don't know. You're the mechanic, so if anybody would know, you would know. Now, I'm sure you've given it some thought. What do you think? What makes the engine noise change, the sound change under synthetic? I did go for a little while with that Mobile One. I maybe I did a few oil changes, maybe a year of oil changes on Mobile One. I don't think this machine's ever had Mobile One in it, but the old Heavy Betty, I ran Mobile One synthetic for bikes, and AMSOIL in the gear case and clutch and stuff. But I change out my filter too on all the bikes every time. When I change oil, I change filters. Some people say you don't have to. Oh man, them filters. Well, the way I look at it, I don't want a little speck of something to come through, and because I was too sorry to put a cheap filter in there. I love the sound of the 114 engine, Ray. That the 114's just got a good mellow thump to it. It's got a good. It don't have a rep like the smaller cubic inch engine, but it has a good, just a good deep baritone sound to it. Yeah, your bike sounds absolutely perfect. Oh, I can imagine. And you're city driving, you got a lot of traffic, and we don't see. We only see your video after you put it together. And yeah, my God, I know it's got to be. Oh, the synthetic gets thinner. It the does the viscosity, does it change, or it's just because it is thin as it goes through the pump, the pressure is not the same. Now, I have noticed a difference in the oil pressure. It will show up on the gauge when it gets hot. Now I've got a cooling system on mine, Ray. You may have heard it. Everybody, most everybody has them on them. Yeah, my cooling system's over there on the side of the engine, and that thing is really effective. It does a dang good job. A lot of people don't like the sound of the. It's like a little turbocharger down there. It whines, and I'll be talking talking on a motor blog, and I'd be stopped at a red light, and I could hear that thing. Woo! I've gotten used to the sound of it, but it's a good way of keeping the thing cool. And on an air cooled two-cylinder engine, historically that back cylinder's always got really hot. I know I've melted on this machine here. I don't have no problem with the exhaust system on it the way they got it. But on Heavy Betty, I had those 2-into-1, and that back cylinder went forward. It came out and went forward and then curled back. Oh, hell, I burned up so many pants, and I burned up so many shoes and my sides of my boots. And what we do for the love of a motorcycle. Because we certainly have burned up a lot of shoes. I was so fortunate when the opportunity for me to have Miss Piggy, when it presented itself. Oh my God! Let me make some room. I see. Here she comes. Oh Lord, she's wow thing. Uh-oh. Whoa, man, you're not angry today, are you? Yeah, everything's all right. How about shaking my hand? How about a handshake? Little human. That's my little human. And this is cup of. I'm a wee bit more Irish now. You know, I tell you, I talked about. Thank you, Motor Mom. I talked about, yeah, supercharged coffee. Uh, I talked with Ray Gregory. His, oh my gosh, I'm not going to say his source, but let's just put it this way: he's got a good source. He creates those beautiful stickers, and I've already been investigating um, the stickers. As you can see, I've got my card. Motor Bum, was you on here yesterday when I showed you? This is my. Did Was you on here yesterday? This is my card I designed for my radio. So if you do any riding, especially that 2-into-1 on a Harley, um, you're gonna burn your legs, your pants. This is the card when we talk to somebody over in Oman or Saudi Arabia or Russia, China, anywhere in the world, South Pole, North Pole. We send them one of these cards. See, this is the, oh, I guess I'm supposed to cover it. Toga said, make sure you cover your address up. And we send this card out. This goes in the little envelope. I used to pay Ruth, not Ruth, but Angelique. I paid her as my QSO manager. QSO manager is someone that does all this for you. What they do is they look at your logbook of all the people you talked to that day, and their job is to come in and put a card in an envelope with an address and send it to whatever country or wherever they're from. And she finally told me, she says, I don't want to do it again. I go, Why not? She said, well, you got some, I go through, I buy those cards, 1,000. I designed the card that had them make them in Coleman, and I do 1,000. If you'll look at FT8 right there, let me show you here. Look right here where it says FT8. FT8 is the newest form of communicating on the amateur radio. Foxtrot Tango 8. And I've got 66,000 contacts confirmed. Yeah, 66,000 contacts around the world. You think, whoa. But and on FT8, FT8 is a complicated mode. It's not, you just don't pick up a mic. I'll break 1-9. How about it, rubber ducky? Kick it on back here. No, they don't. It's not. The equipment is very complex. You got to have a computer. You got to have knowledge of CW, Morse code. CW means continuous wave, interrupted by dits and dahs. And I got 60. Well, I looked the other day. I had 66,000, but those numbers go up. Brown chicken. Hey, welcome to my world. Won't you come on in? Well, brown chicken is catching up with you guys. You guys talk amongst yourself. And old Mack, well, Angelique has expressed she don't want to be on the camera when in the mornings. She hasn't made up her face, and she has not woke up fully, and she still has her sleeping clothes on. And so I don't make it an awkward thing for her. But if she decides where she's going to go, where we're going to go this weekend, and she tells me we got to get it ready, start getting ready to go, maybe she'll come in here and get on the camera, because she loves you guys. She knows that she's on her laptop or in the front. She's got a computer station up in the front of the house, and she's got one in the west wing over here. She's always got this turned on. She loves you guys. She likes the world that we live in. Ray Gregory is an early riser, and I am too. When I get up, I'm ready to go. In other words, I don't need hours of waking up. When I was truck driving, the greatest sleep I've ever had in my life, when I was running solo, not team running, I'd be so tired that I would stop somewhere in what they call the pickle park. That's where all the truckers are pulled in. And I wouldn't get in the sleeper. I would lay my head over on a pillow against the window while I'm still in the seat. and I'd go into another world. I would sleep. It's called a power nap. And about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, oh my God, after lunch, the urge to sleep is so strong. Oatmeal, a pat of butter, cinnamon, sparkling sugar. Oh man, that sounds good. I'm having raisin bran this morning. But a power nap, God, when you wake up, you just like you had been sleeping all night long and put her in gear and off you go. Oh, yeah, I've sat up and slept with many of them. Instead of crawling back there, see, you have to draw a line to go in your sleeper line. You know, all you guys that drives, and your logbook, you got to. Now, if you take that power nap, you're still on duty and driving. So if you're almost at the end of your 70-hour cycle. Um, yeah, you can take a power nap occasionally, and life is good. But E-logging, I don't know how they handle a power nap. I think of you every time, Motorbomb, when I see that commercial. I don't remember even what the commercial's about, but this tattoo artist, he was tattooing something on this guy's chest, big old burly Harley rider, and like maybe he loves mom or whatever, but he misspelled a word. uh, there's no way you can erase it, I guess. I don't know how it works, but once you lay down that ink there, uh-oh, spaghetti-o. When you're truck driving solo, there's so many ways to get your sleeping time in, um, to get some time to catch up. Like I always run a flatbed trailer. Everything on mine was a flatbed, and I only had to pull a van a couple of times, um, and I won't like it. But when they're unloading you, you're not allowed to do anything on the unloading process. You can't be a good old boy from Alabama. Hell, give me that forklift. I unload the damn thing. Hell yeah. I can do everything. You go up in those countries, like up in Connecticut or whatever, when you pull onto a construction site, there's 4 or 5 different unions on that construction site. And one thing they're not going to allow you to do is get a forklift and unload your truck. So I sleep during that period of time. I can get me a nap there. Sometimes they'll be rocking me. Hey, Sterling, well, buddy, I was busy eating and talking, but I don't know. On E-log, Sterling Wheel is, I left before E-logging came out. And can you manage still to pull into Pickle Park and get yourself a little power nap? Oh, that's the e-login you're using. Uh, and now in our rig, we always had Qualcomm. Now I really like. I don't know if Qualcomm, Qualcomm is still, but I like the invoice handling process. Well, that's good. When I was driving, our most mortal enemy, but then also your best friend, was always this dispatcher. Oh, okay. Uh, we used. Oh, that was a really good system. I kind of like that. But in the earlier years, and I don't know how many years you've been driving, but in the way back there, we used to stop like at Williams or the, some of the truck stops, and you'd have to send in all your gas stuff and all. You'd put it in an envelope, and you'd have these places to deposit them, and then they'd go back to the home office. And Ecom, I believe it was. But and when we got to Qualcomm, where we needed a bill of lading. They want to send you to Peoria, Illinois, to Smith Brothers Steelworks. They would print you out they would print you out so you could go in and get your load, and it was pretty convenient. Man, I love Reno. Reno is the biggest little city. Um, I like it. I like Reno. We used to leave my house in Seattle and we'd take my camper and we'd go down to Reno. And my wife was a gambler. She liked to gamble. And her and whatever company we had, they would get on the shuttle bus and they would ride down to their favorite casino. And I would stay back up there at the camp and I'd string me up a big antenna. I'd take my fishing pole and throw it up over a limb and drag my antenna up and get in there and play with my radios. I used to take my radios with me on my camping trips. And while I was down there uh, having a good time at the casino, old Jerry, I'd go do the shows in the evening. I like to go see the shows. I'm not a gambler. I have nothing against it. I'm just such a poor ass loser. One hour east of Fulton. I used to run Highway 395 up in Washington when we lived over on the Spokane side. When I got to Ritzville is where 395 terminates into Ritzville there. Oh, it may even go on up a little higher. Well, that's where I joined on. I'd hit 395 and I'd come down through there, come across into Nevada and back into California. And because we had Susanville and we had Alturas. There was a delivery company there, and we had to deliver. There were so many that run I done. We was working out of Connell, Washington, which is just off Highway 395. It's a mile off 395 and the US 395. I like that road, and most time they do a good job of keeping 395 open. You know why I love Highway 395 so much, and I made a video of it. But when you get down into California, you'll come to what they call four corners. If you turn to the right, you go to Mojave, California. If you turn to the left, you go to Barstow, California. And you can stay and go on past her. My mother worked at a cafe at the Four Corners Cafe. Well, I stopped in there in 2017 and had my video camera, and I interviewed the lady. Her mother owned the Four Corners when my mother worked there. And she remembered my mother. Oh, what a wonderful thing. My mother was just a good human being. Palmdale. Oh, you grew up in Palmdale. Um, One of my favorite places to go. We used to have a retreat down on what's called Big Bear, up at Big Bear Lake, and we would take our group and we'd all converge at Big Bear. It was a seasonal thing that we did, and oh, I love that. I love that whole. Such a beautiful, such a departure. If you just go a little bit more down, you got Los Angeles down there, hot. You got Riverside and all that crap down in there, industrial city. But up there at Big Bear, you're like in another world. The people are different. The air is better. Everything is so good up there. I used to have to go to Victorville a lot. You know where Victorville is there on 395. I used to have to go into industrial city. I'd come down I-5, hit the 405 and cut her, and I would end up in industrial city. Oh, why? See, I know if we went there now, it was such a beautiful place in the days when we went. Um, I like Northern California. There's a couple places up there. I like Alturas. It's a little resort town. Susanville will be over to your right. Um, yeah, we used to come down Highway 97 to Weed. You know where on I-5 you're going north on 5 and you come right there, a little town called Weed. Oh, wouldn't oh, sick bastard, he would be like in hog helmet, Weed, California. That's where 97 goes north. And I used to take that 97. I'd run that 97 highway up there. Oh, you got to go to work today. Well, my God, there's going to be a day when you're going to sit back in and join in with me and Ruby. And Ruby ain't retired yet, and he said he's probably going to work till he dies. But there'll always be me and Ray Gregory here. We ain't going nowhere. We don't plan on ever leaving. Hey, Motorbomb, I went on to your address. I set it up in my computer over here. And now this camera right here, I went on yesterday and it said only the host can, turn this on and off and whatever. Um, so I went in and set my camera up, and this works absolutely perfect. Now, I guess you're going to screen. I'm going to do the landscape mode, but if you decide that you don't want me to be in landscape, I think the other guys are in the landscape. You can squeeze me down to put me in wherever you need to, right? All right. Landscape instead of TikTok vertical landscape. You can squeeze me down, can't you? You can, in other words, when you're placing all 10 of us, can you not? Can you squeeze us down, or does it automatically do it, or do you have everybody to only be vertical? Vertical, I could turn this one vertical to show you what I mean. But I set this camera up instead of using my phone. I'm going to be using this camera here. Do you follow what I'm saying about landscape versus vertical? You got to squeeze everybody onto the screen to get 10 people in. Does it squeeze? No. Oh, okay. That's the question. I use horizontal. Horizontal. Uh, well, yeah, I use horizontal, and but with the phone, I was sitting there. I was sitting there, last week and holding the camera like that, and in my hand. I didn't have I got a tripod that this camera is operating on, and it will go vertical or horizontal, but I didn't have it set up. I had to have a special attachment to put the phone in, open up the jaws and stick the phone in. Because on horizontal, as you can see, I've got all the text over on one side, but if I go vertical, got the text on the other side. So anyhow, all right. As long as you said I can use any mode I want to, I'll just leave it horizontal. In. I was asking if I needed to turn it vertical, I have no trouble doing so. This one, when you roll the camera up, it's just like the phone. It'll automatically switch over from horizontal to vertical. Yeah, portrait mode will push your live show into a YouTube short. Did you see? Did you see in just 3 days? they're going to go to a 3-minute format on the shorts. And I saw where they made some kind of an exception in music. You can only have like a 30-second snippet or under 60-second snippet of music. Is it? Yeah, 3 minutes, and also they're going to allow the square mode. Instead of the TikTok mode, vertical, they're going to allow the square. They call it the square, and I'm sure because in there, I made one of my motorcycle and split the scenes in two parts, top part, lower part, but they're going to allow one piece of video square versus vertical. Yeah, yeah. We call. I hear the other guys refer to people that hold their phone vertical. They refer to those people as cambacks. Yeah, we got some cambacks in here. I'm eating like a pig, so I should be squealing, right? Well, you'll make Portland by 3:30. I believe you said there. Yeah, you've only got 1,000 gear shift. Oh, are you running automatic? The one of the new automatic? Are you still like eating Super 10 or something or whatever? Maybe a 13 speed. I don't even know what you haul. You're probably a van driver. I'd never. Oh, 13 speed. One time I was running with this guy from Seguin, Texas, and we was running together, and he was pulling 100 and something foot long I-beam for the highway. Hello to before, and he had a 21 speed. He was in a Peterbilt, and he was running a 21 speed. And when we was coming out across Texas over there, we was running along just, I mean, lickety split. But when we crossed Alabama and going up over the hill over there by Gadsden, when you go up, going on over into Georgia on I-20, damn, I'm telling you, he ran off and left me. Boy, I mean, he had, see, I didn't have the selection of gears he did. A 21 speed. Oh, he was good at that thing. And 13 speed I like a 13 speed. I had a 13 speed in back in the old days when they had the 318s. You remember the 318s? Uh, you remember they had the starter in the back of the motor? Oh, there was a horrible motor. I mean, in those days, you had big V8 engines with a blower and everything on them, and that 318. We thought it was the cat's meow when it came out, and then I went over to to Seattle, and they put me in a Mack. I can't remember 170, 180, or what the Mack was. It had a quadruplex transmission. And steering wheel, if you ever shifted or worked with a quadruplex, it's an entirely different world than your 13 speed or what was that engine called? Thermodyne. It had a Mack had a Thermodyne V8 engine, and I was pulling a 66-foot triple belly dump. We were building the Highway 167 in the state of Washington, and you had electronics. You had pushed a button, it would open the clamshell in the bottom, and you could deposit your dirt out and whatever amount they needed. They would give you the little markers would tell you how much dirt to dump out or gravel or whatever you was hauling. But our trailers were 66 foot long. Up in Washington, with the permits and everything, for the road construction, they was just absolutely really good. But we used to have to go into the gravel pit and come up out of the gravel pit, and with that old V8 Thermodyne and that quadruplex transmission, and you had to stop at the hill. Your 66 foot trailer was hanging behind you down off the hill, and you would put it in that low compound, and when you take off, it would twist the cab over and carry that right front wheel up in the air as you climbed your way up onto the highway. That right front wheel would be up in the air. And you did this every time you come up out of the pit. Oh, you like the 18 speed? I did. I drove the automatic. The company had a fleet of them. And I think a gear shifter, a guy likes to shift gears or don't mind. You've got I tell you, I'm just more at home with a standard gearbox than I am automatic. Yeah, it's what happens there. You've got this 66. Now, looky, when they fill you up down in the gravel pit, they know how many scoops it takes to give you your load limit, you would think. But sometimes that varies, because here's what happens. When they scoop up water along with your bucket and you dump it, you got wet gravel and many gallons of water every time they dump the big 15-yard bucket they would dump over into your truck. You would have, instead of, I believe, 110,000. I think that was a weight limit back in them days. I don't know. Maybe they might be, universal now. But we had a higher weight limit, and we'd easily pull out there with 140,000 pounds, pull out of the pits. So we had to come across our own scale. We didn't have to get up on the freeway, because once we come up on the county road in Washington State, we went down off the hill and into where they was putting down the road. But coming out of the pit was a booger. And we didn't have anybody to spot for us or nothing. An old Thermodyne had so much torque, and you turn them big old wheels over, and that old cab would just tilt over, and you'd pull that little lever. And a long time ago, we had there was 3 notches on the shifter here on the lever. It was pretty complex. I just remember the quadruplex was not a kind and easy to use transmission. You look at the pattern on it, and it would drive you crazy how it was laid out. Quadruplex. Instead of having 2 shafts in your transmission, had multiple shafts. One time, Motorbomb, I was coming out of Renton, Washington. Now, Renton, Washington is a little town just south of Seattle. It's fairly big now. It's a big city. And we came out of the yard, the trucking yard, where you go down and hook up to your belly dump. Um, we hopped in one, and there was no dyno tape on where the different switches were for opening the gate, open the clamshells under the bottom. And so I flipped up a switch and nothing happened there that I could see. I flipped another switch, and now I'm fixing to go up on Rainier Avenue. You don't know if you haven't been up Seattle. Rainier is a big, well, you got all kind of streets like that in Virginia, but Rainier is really, it goes up over the ridge over Empire District into over where Kenworth and Peterbilt is made. Yeah, Kenworth and Peterbilt Trucking Company over on East Marginal Way. That's Rainier Avenue. It goes over across Empire. Well, just as I was rolling up onto the Empire, I flipped the toggle switch. I'm crawling through there at 1 mile per hour, because the traffic's really heavy, all that Boeing traffic. And the clamshell opened up back there, and I dropped about 800 pounds of dirt right in the middle of the road. Well, my rear wheels ran straddling it mostly. The little Volkswagen was following, tailgating me coming through there. Boom! I looked back here, and his little wheels are off the ground, and I grabbed me another gear, and they got me another gear, and I was lucky enough to get a light down there, and I rolled up on the Empire, and I rode over the hill. The little boy sitting back there with the little Volkswagen wheels just spinning. The city had to go out there and clean the mess up, but that's just the way things were. I used to haul rabbit pellets from the port of Tacoma to Pasco, Washington. Sometimes it'd be all kinds of, but we call it rabbit pellets. And when we rolled up on the Interstate 5, as we come down going in towards Seattle, you have to merge on the 405 down at the bottom of this big long grade. Now you have to merge into 405. It's a bypass. You're not allowed to go, up through the city there. So we rolled onto the bypass. Well, when I came out of the port of the Tacoma, I came up on the inside lane. It's 6 lanes wide. And I got to work that rig to get myself over so I could, we used to call it making Christians. My co-driver, my swamper, it's called a swamper. The only time I ran with anybody with a 21 speed motorbomb, he was hauling a long girder that you'd put on a bridge across a river somewhere, Golden Trucking. Yeah, when I would get laid off from Boeing, always went back to trucking. And there was plenty of jobs available. In those days, if you had an endorsement for combination, or if you had a CDL, they eventually got the CDL, you could, if you had chauffeurs on the West Coast, we start out with what's called a chauffeur's license. You have to take this test to get the chauffeur's license. And then in Alabama, when I was driving for Alabama Tank Line, all we needed back in those days was your ICC certificate. If you got your ICC certificate, you could haul any combination. Yeah, Gordon is down in Pacific, Washington. And right next to Pacific is Algona. Algona, then you go right into the Bowen complex. That whole facility there is Bowen, Auburn complex. And Gorton Trucking down there, yeah, they got a beautiful big old fleet down there. Yeah, it's between two ridges, East Marginal and West Marginal, but our now they call it the Valley Freeway, Highway 167, rolls into 512 over by Tacoma. You can get over and you can get into the port of Tacoma without having to get up on I-5. That's a better way of going. We knew every little pig trail, man. When it comes to trucking over there, we could. What was the name of that truck stop down there at Portland? Don't tell me. Let me see if I can remember, because I've got a cap from them from the big truck stop right there at Portland. Everybody always usually fill up down there at that truck stop. Um, the next big truck stop to the north on 5 is at Federal Way, Washington. But that one, like Nobles, used to be on exit 4, Nobles over there. Now it's Bremen. Nobles is where I like to stop when I got into Georgia. But over on the West Coast, we always stopped at that gas station. Oh, Gorton Trucking is now sold out to. Oh, I've been seeing a lot of them trucks on the road too. Western Express. They used to be Cheatin' Deaton. You remember Cheatin' Deaton? I don't, you back here in the South. I don't know if you ever run across. Yeah, Western Express. You see them everywhere. They just got out of prison, and they got their license. Western Express. They know how to handle the DOT. Gibbets. Oh, buddy. Thank you. Gibbets. There's a truck stop right there. Motorbum. You're in that, what I believe they call it oh, see, Portland has a name. The Rose City, City of Roses, or whatever, in Portland, because they have a big Rose Festival every year. And it's right on the Columbia River. And you got Motorbomb, you got the mighty Columbia River that you're crossing, and it's a big river. And you got highways above highways and beside highways and bypass. And then if you're so unfortunate and have to go down on a river road, go down along the river road. Emerald City, Emerald City. I thought Emerald City was Tacoma. Uh, I don't remember. There's just some. All the cities got a name. Hey, time to go. No, man, you never interrupt. Well, come and enjoy yourself for 20 minutes. You're gonna find 2 or 3 of these guys in here that are really talkative and it can express themselves, and they'll engage you in conversation in a heartbeat of almost about any subject. You don't have to be selective with your subjects as long as it's Harley or particular about Harleys. uh, Time goes on so slowly. I can't say. That's quite obvious. It was 57 degrees Fahrenheit here this morning. So old Mac had to have a comforter on him. Old Mac gets cold. Yeah. Yeah. Let me, if I can get some here so I can show you. I can show you my Raisin Bran. You can see she's pretty well wore out. But once it gets down in that big churning machine, that churning machine has to process it and go down in there to feed the main engine. Motorbomb, they used to take us out and on like a 5 day bivouac, and you'd go back and you got to stay out there for 5 days. Eating mush is the least of your worries. you you give a GI opportunity, he'd eat the bark off of a tree. Hey, 2-4, do you have a live show? Do you have enough of subs to do your live? If not, when are you going to debut your like American Outlaw yesterday? He did his live from Bismarck, North Dakota. American Outlaw. What a cool guy. What a way to get started out. We're going to be able to see more of him now that he got all of his ducks in a row and he can come in. And I guess I'm going to start doing like everybody else does. I'm going to start advertising a premiere, and that way you don't have conflicted. I just look through and see when everybody's premiere is coming out, make sure I don't put my live feed on at the same time they're on. Well, my coffee is beginning to get cool now. Be glad when that little heifer wakes up. She said she won't be back until 8 o'clock. We went to a special coffee house in Seattle, Washington. And it was a grand opening, and they had these big old mugs up there. And I said, I didn't say anything. I just drinking our coffee, and my wife bought me a coffee cup, big big coffee cup for old Mac. Two, before I didn't hear your answer. I was busy talking. I didn't see it on there. Do you do a live? Are you doing live from Nova Scotia yet? And if so, if you tell me where to go, I'll go and watch your live videos. Oh, good. Oh, good. Maybe we'll start to see. He can show us a little Nova Scotia. All you got to do, listen to me. Listen to. Now, I learned everything from Motorbahn, Virginia. You just plug this in. See, take this, plug it in right here. Turn the big knob to the right. Plug this one right here, and turn that little knob to the left. And then you center up the video, and you're good to go. That's all it was. I couldn't believe it. You remember when they used to illustrate stuff with the bouncing ball? They would keep up with the music, and the ball would be bouncing along. Usually at drive-in theaters. You kids, do y'all remember drive-in theaters? You kids? Karaoke. Yeah, karaoke. That's right. It it would do the bouncing, but you could follow along with the tempo and the beat and everything. And well, iPhone, I use my phone. It's the same as yours. I used it for years for all of my for almost everything. It looks just like yours. Oh, oh, what is that? Yeah, there we go. It probably your phone probably looks like similar to that one, and on the other side, it's probably looks the same. And I've made videos while riding. I got a little tripod, a little thing, a stick that you put this in, and they make good videos. They work good. Old Mac, he talks about a lot of old things and such funness. You'd go to the. We was living in California during a big part of my young adult life, and you'd go in the San Joaquin Valley, you'd go up there to the drive-in, and the fog would roll in, and you couldn't see the screen for a time, and that give you time to smooch. Mm. Yeah, it was a makeout session. You would invite your girlfriend to go to the drive-in, and yeah, baby. Ooh, I wonder how many children was born to the drive-in theater. Yep. Drink in the car, all the food you could eat, you eat all your sandwiches, and also you go, hey, did you see that? In the theater, you couldn't do that. See, inside the theater, you go, hey, no whispering in there. But when you're at the drive-in theater, you go, hey, Becky, hand me a cold beer. Toss the can out the window. Got a little speaker sitting right here on your window. You roll the window up, the speaker would be right here. And then in some of the good drive-in theaters had heaters, and you'd bring the heater in. You pull up and you got a speaker box and you got a heater box, and you bring the heater in, and it would keep your car nice and warm. But if you're doing it right, time to go, your woman's going to keep you warm. She's going to make you hot. Get my drift? Yeah, they keep you warm. That's new technology. Before they had electricity, you had the heater, and they would just sit there and everybody gather around and look at it, but once you got where you could plug them in, man, they'd put out that warm, glowing heat. Yeah, we knew all the tricks, Motorbomb. No, we didn't have Wi-Fi. We wasn't that lucky. But here's what happened. As time went by, time to go, you would turn your radio station on your radio to 87.5 or 82.9 or whatever they tell you. When you come up at the drive-in, you could turn your radio to that particular channel, and you could hear the movie and everything on your stereo inside your car. Yeah, buddy. That was it right towards the end. The end was near when they started having the sound come through your speakers in the car. And it worked really good. Because that little frequency they would give you would be dedicated just for that, for that. And that really worked good. I had a Oldsmobile car, Motorbahn, Virginia, it was an O's 98. Back in the old days, the big number signified a bigger car. The 88 was a smaller car. The 98 was a bigger car. And it had the seats in the back, it had a fold down arm, but it had a cloth that came down, like leather or whatever, or what cloth. But if you removed that, you could have two or three of your friends in the trunk of the car, and they would crawl through that hole, get inside the car once you got inside the theater. You only had to buy one ticket, and three of your best buddies could be in there with you. And they would bring the beer in with them. Bring the beer in. Where's the beer? Oh man, ain't nothing finer than going to the drive-in movie with your woman and cold beer and sandwiches. You didn't ever have to walk to the concession stand because you had all that food in your car. Yeah, back in the day, now they had specials kind to go, like let's say family night. The whole car gets in for one fee, but most of the time it was per head. There's four of you in there. Four of you had to have tickets, and they got wise to people slipping in, and so occasionally they tap on your window and wanted to see your tickets. Oh, you was in deep doo doo then. But they kept an eye on. They knew the guy walking around, and they'd open the side door and slip on out, so that they wouldn't get caught. They'd head up to the concession stand. We'd save quite a few dollars now. Back in the old days, kind of for the price of a theater, getting into the drive-in theater, you could get a six-pack of beer for that price. In our days, a six-pack of beer was under $1. And I think a movie ticket to get into a drive-in theater was $1 or two, American dollar. And so every one of them dollars you could save, you could spend it on beer. Youth, when you're in your youth, you got to have, it's expensive being young. You got all that money you got to spend for beer. And don't forget, your prophylactic bill can run pretty high too if you're a player. Just take it from me, I know. We had a saying in our days, Kime, and Motorbomb knows this to be a fact. Candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker. You know what I mean? Oh, we had such good days. Oh man, the youth. Now we're having fun as a senior. Oh, two before he knows what we're talking about. As a senior, it's almost the same thing today. We've replaced beer with Metamucil. We take Metamucil now instead of beer. And we've switched the price of prophylactics now to Depends. Yeah, our Depends bills. When you get above 75, your Depends bill can be pretty expensive. Unless you join some kind of Depends league, you can join these Depends leagues where you can get your Depends at a reduced price. It's very important. That depends. Yeah, that's right. See, two before wouldn't even know what a Depends is, but he will learn. He will learn. You go up to Walmart and they didn't have the Depends in the large size, so you stop up at the checkout stand, or maybe extra large. Some of the boys have got a little bit beefier, and their butts has got wider. When you ride a Harley, your butt naturally just gets wider, and so you have to always have the Super Max Depends. And so you go and you ask the lady quietly, "Ma'am, do you have the Super Max Depends?" We need Supermax Depends of bring it up here to gate number 4 here at the checkout stand. Supermax, we need Supermax. Bring Supermax to the front of the store, please. You just shrink down lower and lower. He needs the wider ones. Oh. Yes, all relative. At different phases of your life, you can compare it. uh, um, and the different phases of your life, the cost just shifts over into whatever phase you're in. You never escape it. You never escape it. Um, yeah, the money. I don't know which is the most expensive, being young or being older. No problem. Um, two before just spit his coffee out. um, well, when you come up and you had your little children, when you first married, your little children were coming along, and they was always just buying cough syrup alone. In a family, when you got 4 or 5 kids, just the cough syrup, you got to get the Imodium AM or all the different kinds. Oh, he's sensitive. He can't use the cherry cough drop. He has to have a special one that you have to go over to Rexall drugstore and pay 3 times as much, because he's sensitive. Or yeah, one time we was up in Oklahoma City. I took my little tribe out and we stopped at this place. It featured Southern cooking in Oklahoma City. So we ordered the chicken. They brought the big chicken there on a platter, and you serve yourself off the chicken. It's your chicken, and they put it in a box to go when they got through. Well, we had one of the kids in a high chair sitting right over here, and we gave him a chicken leg, and that way you could take that chicken leg and he could gnaw on that chicken leg. Man, he was gnawing, and when he got down to that bone part, he just took that chicken leg and tossed it over his shoulder, and it went arched over and landed in this guy's soup. Soup splattered out. Hey, 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 what's going on here? When he looked over, I just pointed at my little boy in the high chair, and that guy laughed so hard. Um, he didn't know where that flying chicken bone came from. We stopped in a place called Inslee, Washington. My sister and I went to the UPS store. My sister Joyce, the UPS store in Inslee, Washington, not Inslee, Washington, Inslee, Alabama. It's right, it's a little suburbs next to Birmingham. It's an extreme high risk area. And so we wanted to get in and get out. And so when we parked there, right next to the place where you mailed your packages stuff, the UPS store, was a Church's Chicken. And sitting over here beside them, like a Lincoln Town car over here, comes these two people out. They were Southern folks. And they was a little bit darker than me and my sister, quite a bit darker. And they didn't want to wait till they got back to their Lincoln Town car to eat their chicken. They were sucking the meat off them chicken wings. They go and tossing the bones out in the parking lot. I'm not kidding you. Sucking the meat off of them and pulling that meat right off them bones and just tossing the bones out in the parking lot. They didn't want to get that chicken in their town car. Hell no, ain't nothing free in America. Hell no. Now, I have to say this. Maybe they do. I don't know. I haven't had any children in 30 or 40 year, 50 year, 40 year. They may have something now. I don't know. I don't think Joe's kids have any insurance. I don't know. I'll have to ask him. I don't think there's a national health care program at all for anybody. I know, this is this. When my wife got cancer, I took her up there. They diagnosed her as stage 4 and a very aggressive. She needs to have a mastectomy, radical mastectomy. And so we are both, we're on Medicare. Medicare is a government thing that you pay into all your working life, and it's supposed to have you covered. Medicare only pays 80%. Our share, for us, we had to have $33,000 cash on hand the day that she goes into the hospital. Not one of them things, we'll send you a bill. We'll let you pay it off a little bit at a time. We'll work something out with you. Before she could have her surgery, let's try and get on out of the depot here. That one's going up to grinder switch. Cousin Minnie Pearl, she gets on it up there. Oh, he stopped. Oh, he must be going to drop off a package. Yeah, we had to have, before we could register to go into the hospital that day, $33,000. I'm going to ask you, I know that ain't much money for you folks over in England, but for retired people, unless you've been retired very successful, I've been retired almost 30 years now. It wasn't easy. And it ain't easy on anybody. Let's just say I had friends that was not Medicare age and they got cancer and they had to get a GoFundMe page to help them to get chemotherapy, to help them. There's no government agency in Alabama that will buy your chemotherapy, none of that stuff. No radiation. I had cancers removed off my head here. You have to pay that cash. So we bought a supplemental insurance Not only did I work all my life to have an insurance, but insurance is so high in America, we had to have a supplemental insurance. My sister has two supplemental insurance to cover all the little different portions. I pay on my supplemental insurance, I'm paying $300 per month. So no, there's no free ride in America, man. There ain't no free ride in Alabama. Now there's some states that have a medical plan that's sponsored by the state. We're not one of those states. I had friends of mine to die because they couldn't get chemotherapy. They couldn't get anybody to sponsor them on a GoFundMe page. If you're a high roller, 33,000 ain't a whole lot of money if you're a high roller. But if you've just worked hard all your life and been living off your retirement, I'd been on my retirement for over 20 years when she had her cancer. But ours is a mild case. We happen to be able to get a hold of the money, and hers is all paid off. There are some people who don't have that asset. They don't have those assets, I don't know how they handle it. I don't know. Are you talking about 33,000 pounds? That would be about where my wages. I was $104,000 was my yearly. That was my base salary. And then with a great retirement program, when they use that word, a great retirement program, bullshit. No. Nope. Aren't you like £2 or $3 for each pound? In other words, I don't remember what the money exchange is for Europe, for England. Buddy, thank you. You said you was going to be a short timer, and thank you very much for coming in this morning and joining me and some of this hardy crew we got in there. I see we got on the scoreboard over eight people. Maybe that's 8 people that's checked in. Uh-oh. You know what I do when my monitor begins to have an issue? I take them out here in the backyard and I shoot them with my 45 or 44 or whatever gun I happen to be picking up. I take the extension cord plate. I like to watch them blow up when I shoot them. I bought a printer. I don't remember what the printer was. It was a good printer, but it had an issue. It would, when it would start doing the pages when it's printing, occasionally it would lose a digit out of the printer. And I tried to get them to fix it under warranty, but they refused to do so. So I took it over here on the rail and I plugged it in, and it sat there and, and it run back and forth and went to home, where it's ready to print. And I took my 45 and I shot it 10 or 12 times till it blowed up. I shot it and it finally hit the transformer in there and poof. I like to watch stuff blow up. If my TV begins to show just the least sign of weakness there, I'll take it out and shoot it. That's the American way. I had a toilet upstairs, I went up there and I fought that damn thing for hours, getting it all out and get it off that wax seal and all that stuff. And then I had to pack it down them stairs, and then I had to take it down the stairs in the back. I took it over by the bamboo road over there, set it up on a railroad tie. I took my 44 Magnum, set my camera up over there, and shot it and watched that porcelain thing blow up. Poof. Man, I mean, at 44, I shoot no super veil. They'll break a car block, but they go in and explode and make a big. The bullet goes in. Oh, it's awesome. Super veil, super velocity. And I shot the old toilet from upstairs. It's this big kid in me. I still like blowing up stuff. It's a lot of fun. What something just. I like to shoot water jugs. Angelique saves our milk jugs. And here's what we did out there. I took red dye in one of the water jugs, blue dye in the other one, and a white. It made it chalky white, red, white, and blue. And I took one of my weapons. It's auto. It shoots auto. I think it's a 308. I went out there. Oh man! I put the camera. I set the GoPro up on a little tripod, looking up, and all those colors of the water all intermingled together. And the sun was over here, and it was like a rainbow. It's so beautiful. All that, when you put 30 rounds into it, it just everything just spray in. And yep, I like a little color, splash of color in my life. Well, a pip pip and cheerio. Oh, parting is such sweet sorrow, Motorbomb, Virginia. You got to go do your thing, and well, then you can get your weekend started. We're gonna go somewhere. When she wakes up, she said she'd be in here at 8 o'clock. It's already 8:07, and she ain't out here yet. So I don't know where we're gonna go, but we're gonna go for a ride either today or tomorrow. I I I'd like to go tomorrow. I'd like to go and ride over to Philadelphia. From here to Philadelphia, it's 204 miles from my house over to Philadelphia, Mississippi. That's the home of the fabulous bacon, but it's a good ride. I can't make it over on one tank of gas. I have to stop. I like to stop. What is the name of that little place down there? Utah. I stop in Utah to get gas. I can make it from here to Utah, Alabama. Yeah, we got some weird towns. We got Kansas, Alabama. We got Dodge City, Alabama. I live just 10 miles from Dodge City. Bye, Motorbomb. Boy, my crew's leaving me in a hurry. This last hour, it's going to be a booger. I've been on for 2 hours, 15 minutes. Later, Gator. After a while, Crocodile. At ease, disease, there's a fungus among us. That's my youth. That's my youth talking. Haven't seen my sister in a few days. My baby sister. But she comes and goes whenever she wants to hop in, she can hop in. I'm just looking at this mess. I've got over here 3 different kinds of dog food. I got pepperoni, my little boy. My little boy, he likes this right here, made with real bacon. No matter which way you look at him, he's happy. That's my little boy right there. Bacon makes him happy. No artificial flavors, food dye, and colors. Real meat. And then I guess I'm going the wrong way. There we go. Trying to turn it where the light ain't reflecting. There we go. That's better right there. Real beef flavor. Marrow bones. Oh, Theo would do almost anything for one of these right here. And pepperoni. Pepperoni. Made with real steak. Not that artificial kind. And it comes in, you see that? That's mouth-watering aroma. It makes my dog slobber. Woo! Ribeye, top sirloin, New York strip flavors. Damn, that even sounds good enough to eat, don't it? Slow cooked. Not that old fast cooked crap. This is that good slow cooked stuff right here. 9 out of 10 dogs prefer pepperoni, the San Francisco treat. I have so much junk laying here on the floor that I'm going to have to get around to it. Then my phone, am I still alive? Yeah, I'm still alive. I had to look over and make sure. Live from Arkadelphia. This is the old Mack show. Well, we're down to 3. Well, maybe that's just 3 that's chat. Oh, I guess it is going down. I had 5 thumbs up today. I'm setting a record today. I guess I got to quit whining about stuff, and I wouldn't be running my viewers away. That's what it is. I'm depressing. Sometimes I look at my replay and it sounds very depressing. I got to figure out some kind of way to perk this up, make it more enjoyable. Yeah, I could go in there and get me a tequila bottle and put my Mexican sombrero on over there. It's not really a sombrero, it's more of a Tex-Mex hat. I see they're getting popular. A lot of people are wearing them. You know, they got to keep that sun off the face so you don't have them skin cancer things popping up. I've had my share of that stuff, and that ain't fun. when they put you in that little radar gun. They got that little thing, a little radar thing. It does radiation. They'll put it up there and it buzzes. I was looking to see if I have anything else I could share with you fine folks here this morning. Well, my numbers are up, going back up again, so that's good. And who worries about the numbers, right? Well, you always hear about these cheap Chinese things, Harbor Freight especially, Harbor Freight. Yeah, I've had this thing for years. Me and old Joe was up at Harbor Freight a few years ago, and I bought this thing because when you walk out there at night, they could be a copper-headed rattle moccasin with all this bamboo. We got eastern diamondback snakes, and we got a lot of poisonous snakes around. And you turn this little baby on, whoa, baby! SOS. Okay. Um, this thing it's been running for years. You gotta take the little cap off and charge it back here. You plug into it USB charging port. And I think we paid $14 for this several years ago. And it's virtually indestructible. Turn all the lights off and ooh, boys and girls, this is gonna be a Halloween that you'll never forget. I told you I can be as crazy as I want to be. It's my channel. And you're seeing crazy, crazy. Uh-oh. The number's starting to dwindle. Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, now I'm drinking cold coffee. Little nat. Little buddy, I hope you had a good life while you was here. Well, does anybody have any plans for the day you'd like to share with us? What you going to do? I know Sterling will. He's on his way to Portland in his big truck. Motorbomb is off to work. Time to go and went to buy himself a monitor. And Ray Gregory is probably out there in the shop checking over his machine. Because I know he rides hard. I haven't seen Sick this morning. My day ain't complete till I see Sick. I bet he's over there on Dave with Dave, and I thought Dave would have had his wrapped up and come over and join us. Maybe I should wrap mine up and go join Dave. I bet that's where everybody went. Over to go see Dave. I'll do that here shortly. I'll probably run this till 2 hours and 30 minutes. Uh-oh. My little boy. Oh, my little boy. I don't know if y'all are going to be able to see this or not, but y'all look way over there. There's 5 of you in here, so look way over there. My little boy is laying on old Mack's pillow. See that little brown lump over there? My little boy is right in the middle of old Mack's pillow. He's got a bed right down at the foot of the bed there. You know, see right down on the bottom, there's a bed right at the bottom of the bed. And there's over there on the wall, there's another bed over there. And then right here, there's a bed right there. There's a bed right there. The boy's got beds everywhere, but no, he's on my pillow. All I can say is he loves old Mack, and I love him too. Oh, we got 6 people in there. People go, I'm going to go over on old Mack's channel and take notes. Rolling with T-Bone. Oh, okay. I know they got a lot of cleanup to be doing down there in Florida. I watched the Boosted Boys, Cletus McFarland, JH Diesel, American Outlaw. Hello, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you this morning. Yeah, I looked at Cletus McFarland. Boy, they had a lot of damage. JH Diesel on his place had a lot of damage. The Boosted Boys, a lot of damage out there where Shade Tree Surgeons at. That whole area was hit really hard. And it could have been a lot worse. They were spared right at the last moment there with that outgoing tide, with the water being lower than normal. Oh, no. Man, I hate to hear that, buddy. I saw so many houses underwater down there, and yeah, my sister lives in Tampa. She lives just north of Tampa there, so they got a lot of damage up in that area. But people below Tampa really got a lot of damage. Well, how cold is it this morning up in Bismarck, North Dakota, American Outlaw? Oh, they got a tremendous amount of money coming that direction. Yeah, that 750 was a food thing. To get started out, there was no way that they're going to give they replace your home and your land and your farm and all your cattle and your animals. And I know when they came in, when we had an EF5 tornado that came over here and killed a lot of people, 38 people killed in my neighborhood right over here, that came to our town in Arkadelphia and just flattened everything, killed all the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of chickens. And they came in and set up food kitchens and stuff in Arkadelphia. FEMA did, and then they come through estimating the damage, and they was working with all the insurance companies down here. I had lots of damage to my place, and they had a FEMA people that did to survey the damage, and then Alpha Insurance. That's who I have here in Alabama. Alpha sent a representative out here, and they got me all fixed up. It was 57. It was 57 this morning, T-Bone, here at my place. It was chilly enough. I put a comforter on my bed last night, or Angelique did. She put a comforter on over there, and I was happy to have it this morning. It felt good. 38 in Bismarck, North Dakota. Well, that's probably statistically the way it should be. I know your worst is yet to come. We have those Arctic things that comes down the Mississippi Valley, and we get low temperatures here. I mean, low as 8 degrees in Alabama. That's what we had last year again. We had one time, I don't remember how far back, maybe 10, 12 years ago, it stayed below 30 degrees. It stayed below 30 for like a week or more. And that's pretty well unheard of in Alabama, having cold weather that long. We'll have a few cold freezing days, and then it comes out with a 68-degree day and gives you hope for living. Yeah, up in Washington, when we lived up there, they would have an Arctic. They had names for all those winds coming out of, right down the pike air from Alaska and from the North Pole, come sweeping down through the Polar Express. That's the one they used up in Washington State. Was called the Polar Express. I lived in Montana. I was stationed at Whiteman Air Force Base, but I had to work at a remote location in Montana called Lewistown. I spent my time out there, and when I left on the 19th of January of 1979, I left Lewistown. They relocated us to what we call Wing 4 of the Minuteman system. That's in Sedalia, Missouri. Minus 32, minus. Minus 50. Yeah, that's right. Well, when I left, it was 70 below zero when I left Lewistown, Montana on the 19th of January of 1979. And we went into Sedalia, Missouri, and that Polar Express come rolling down, that Arctic blast come down all the way to St. Louis. And it dropped down to 29 degrees in Sedalia, Missouri, 29, which was kind of like a record cold. And They blamed it all on us. They said we brought all that bad weather out of Montana. Yeah, some cold weather. See, when you live in a remote, you don't get to stay in a real good building. You stay in a trailer house. And the trailer house is what they call an Arctic pack. The trailer is used in the same trailer I lived in Minot, North Dakota. They just bring them down. The government agency, Government Service Administration, GSA. Before we moved into an area, they would bring the homes in and set them all up for us, and then they would bring us in, and the house would be ready for us. They moved those houses around everywhere. Now they didn't take them to Missouri because they didn't figure it ever be cold enough to have an Arctic pack house in Missouri. So they gave us pretty good quarters. Yeah, the blizzard of '93. I was I didn't get down here to '97, so I was still in Washington. But all my family lived down here, and that's all they talked about was the '93 blizzard. We moved up in the mountains in Washington after we got up in the hills, away from the city of Seattle, and we went into a place called Lake Wilderness. And so I was living there at Lake Wilderness. I think my sister was living in a community close to us, and a friend of ours called us, and he said, "There's a lady that lives over at the lake. She's all froze up. Everything's froze up over her. She's a good friend of our family." So we go over there, and we take we had to thaw her pipes out, and then we wrapped it all in electrical tape and plugged it in. It's electric. It's designed for putting around your water pipes. And we went over to the hardware store and got all the wiring and wired her trailer up and plugged her in. And we showed her where her little box was, where she could see when the little yellow light was on, it means it was working. And you talking about that little lady fixed us a lunch. Oh my gosh, that was so good. When we was over in Montana, all of our GSA vehicles they give us to drive had emergency blankets, had emergency, it had MRE rations and stuff like that, so that you could hunker down. And you had these little hand warmer things. You'd break a little thing, and it was inside of a container, and it had a little vent hose, and you could put that on your chest. It would you could lay it here on your chest, and you could wrap your arms around it, and man, it would just heat you hard up. As long as you keep that heart warm, you could stay alive. And it was part of your emergency kit. That when you broke that little chemical thing inside that little plastic, there's a little tube about that long, you'd break it. You had a whole bunch of those sticks now. As your canister began to cool off, you'd break another one, take the old one out and put another one in. And there was no fumes, no mess, no nothing. You could put it inside your clothes and it'd get really nice and warm. In fact, if you laid it next to your skin, it'd get a little bit uncomfortably warm. I wished I'd have brought some of them home, but they wouldn't let us keep them. They belong to the government. You know, once the little tube is broke, it's done. And once it uses itself up, you just toss it away and put another tube in there. They've been around forever, those things. It wasn't something they invented just for us. It's just something they had a lot of, and they give us out a lot of them. I used to like some of the MREs they give us was really good. One time we was down in Harlow Town. If you look up on the Google Earth, Harlow Town is in Missouri, in Montana, and it's down quite a ways south of Lewistown. And we got down there, and what happened is the military, we have on the site, we have a weather station. Every one of us have a weather station, and we'd have to give these weather reports and wind velocities and stuff like that. They didn't have telemetry back in the days where you could feed it into a satellite. You had to call it in, and so we'd send out the weather. Well, they told us from Great Falls over there, they said, hunker down, don't leave your sight. Do not leave. It's just too dangerous. We've got a huge polar front coming in, and the temperature is going to drop down to 60 below zero. So stay where you're at. So, well, me and this guy named Roy Williamson, him and I both worked for the company, but he had a different position I did. He was like the gatekeeper. You know, he kept a list of all the projects that's going on the Minuteman silo, and he had his status report and all that stuff, and he'd have to call it in on the military radio, the status report for the day. And so anyhow, they said shut down, get the craft out of there. The craft usually lives somewhere within the immediate area. So we released all the craft, and so we hunkered down for the evening. So along about 5 o'clock in the evening, Roy Williamson, he's the keeper of the locker that holds all the MREs. So he goes over there and is called to authenticate. He pushed a little code in and the little latch come up, and we swung the thing open. And where it was sitting, the rats had chewed holes from the back and got inside. They had chewed holes all through those bags of MREs, and they eat all the good stuff. We didn't have any MREs. It was all, every one of them. And down in the bottom, there was an inch of rat turds down in there, and mixed in with the rice and all that stuff. And dang, we didn't have any MREs. And but we had plenty of coffee. In our site, we were allowed to have 3 appliances. And one of our appliances was, of course, a coffee pot. And the other appliance was a fry daddy. Because we'd buy old cheap hamburger meat, and we'd make hamburger patties, and we had all the makings, salt and pepper and stuff like that. And we had plenty of bread. We had a cupboard in the front part where the cooking station was. We had our bread and stuff in these sealed container boxes so it wouldn't get stale. Well, I know I love my time. I spent my time I stayed always in Montana. And when we get punished, we'd have to be doing what's called a temporary duty over to Minot. There was a place in Nebraska. We all hated to go to that place too. Then you never want to go to Cheyenne Mountain. That when they sent you to Cheyenne, that was I was at Wing 1, Wing 4. I think that was Wing 2 in Cheyenne. But that's all a lockdown facility. There's nothing outside. Cheyenne is a control center. And when they sent you over there, you went in and you stayed in until they released you. No flavor to the toilet paper. We had in our MREs, we had John Wayne toilet paper. T-Bone, you know what John Wayne toilet paper is? John Wayne toilet paper. John Wayne toilet paper was made by the U.S. government at the lowest possible, cheapest price to the lowest bidder. And John Wayne toilet paper was rough, it was tough, and it wouldn't take crap off nobody. Rough and tough, it wouldn't take crap off nobody. It was useless. Oh yeah, pine cob. Don't forget corn cobs up in Nebraska. You got corn cobs. But you know what the guy said? Do not be squeezing the Sherman. Hey Jim, welcome to my world. Why don't you come on in? Well, Jim, what's going on up there in Virginia, West Virginia? Oh man, you're gonna like it. I'm gonna tell you, Tri-Glide. They got air ride suspension right under your seat. You know, you got all the controls. You got so. Oh man, a Tri-Glide is it's a lot different than the Hondas. The one that they put together for the Honda. Um, it don't have the smooth engine like the 1800cc Honda has, but oh my gosh, it's got so many options on it. The entertainment center, the info center is just outstanding. Um, the ride quality, yeah, you got the new one. The new Tri-Glide's got power steering. Now I've got a steering dampener, but I don't have power steering. And without power steering, they really ride good. They're well balanced, and you can go into a corner good. You don't have that insecure feeling when you go hard into a corner, and you can power out of a corner. They got enough torque and power. I got an ultra classic. Mine's an older ultra classic, but it's got everything still works. Well, look at this. People complain about the price of a Tri-Glide being up $50,000 and all that kind of stuff, but they wouldn't hesitate to go buy a Ford F-150. I paid my Ford F-150 is 42,000 for a pickup truck that sits out here in the yard. That was then. That way back then. My truck's old. A new one it cost you almost $100,000. I have a friend that bought a new GMC truck. It's got almost everything that you can put on that. Oh, I don't mean Sierra or something other, whatever it is, but he's got close to $100,000 in a pickup truck. Oh, you've got Jim. You got these Mack. You got 4 disc brakes. You got 4 of them, 2 up in the front, 1 on each wheel, and you got an emergency brake that you can set, parking brake, and you got reverse, just a push of a button and away you go, backing up. Um, you're going to like the air ride seats. They're nice. Well, you got to keep in mind, Motor the price of groceries are insignificant here because we came out of Washington State where the cost of living is extremely out of sight. We come down here to Alabama and your groceries are pretty low compared to other places in the country. I think once you ride it, you're going to really fall in love with it. It literally, if you're a rider, you know you've been riding a long time, and you know you go into a corner and you tend to lean. Now, me and Angelique, we're of the old days when we leaned left and right, and her body goes wherever mine goes. She don't have to be told. Then back there in the back where she sat, it's got the big arm wraps that comes around, and she's got handles to hold on to. If for whatever the case may be, she got good adjustable foot pads just for her to put her feet on. Big place to put your feet, not a little round rod where you got your foot on the rod. You got places to put your feet. Everything on the convenience of the shifter, the brake, and everything is so laid out. Hey T-Bone, I bought a truck built in Chattanooga, Tennessee, at the Harley Davidson dealership, and it was a 2000 model truck, and it was called the Hornet, and it was laid out with Heinz joints, fully adjustable rear suspension. There's got now that you got those Frankenstein kits that are just outstanding. You can put them on any model. You can get a model for every occasion. 272,000 miles on a 2001 Avalanche. Well, down here in Alabama, they don't call them avalanches, Roland T-Bone. They're called mudslides. Frankenstein makes the best. Other than the one I bought was specialized and built by Harley. Harley crew built it up there, hoping this is in 2009 that they would get a like a sponsorship from Harley itself. Oh my God, that thing had everything on it. Oh, it had a hot motor on the thing, really, because they felt with the extra weight and everything, you needed more horsepower. So it was like stage 3 on the engine, and it really run good. Yeah, mudslide. That's what. Yeah, there ain't no avalanche down here in Alabama. Oh, we looked at a brand new Harley. Me and Angelique, we went and we were standing there, and I'm not kidding you, I almost signed. It was going to be with my trade in. I was going to have a $340 a month payment, 340 a month for that Harley on a payment, and I almost signed. I mean, it was so tempting if I just signed right here, but that was in 23. Well, I've had every Ford. I'm just like you about that. I've had every Ford that's been ever made. I had an F-250 with a 460 engine in it. I think I told Dave 360. It was a 460. I'm slip of the tongue, but it was a 460, and that was a really, and it had the C6 automatic back in those days. They had a really strong transmission to the thing, and of course it had the towing package transmission with the oil coolers and engine oil cooler and all that stuff on it. And oh, that was an expensive package. It had a wilderness camper on it that was fully self-contained, 11-footer, had a little slide out, and it had all kinds of stuff on it. I bought Ruth this pickup truck out here. It's a 2007 called a Eddie Bauer package, 2007 with that Triton motor in it, 5.4. Um, it really runs good. I think we got 90,000 on it. Yeah, it just rolled over 90,000 miles. It really runs good. But what happened when I had 65,000 miles on it, and I took it up there and had them to change out the spark plug. And that guy said, "There's no reason to change these spark plugs out this early." I said, "I want them changed out." And I said, "I want to make sure you put that grease on them so that when they go back in the aluminum heads, I won't end up having to put helicores on all my spark plug holes." Oh, I like that GM. I like the Denali. I bought a new I bought a new GMC pickup truck when I was here in Alabama when I first came down. "Hey, Sick, we've been waiting on you, buddy." I said, "I'm not going to leave the air until Sick gets here." And Sick, me and my daughter, we sat here, my woman, my girl, the lady that lives here, we sat here and we listened to Grateful Dead and that lead saxophone player. I mean, when you're good, you know you're good. And that guy, when he was swinging, when he got up there and he had that thing going, man, he was on. That kind of music never gets old. Sick, it's where it should be, you know. Yeah, old Clarence Clemens. Yeah, yeah. When you're good at that kind of stuff, it really adds so much to the music. And you know that we were listening to the song. Angelique knew it very well, and and it was such a departure, I think, from the Grateful Dead to just show you the kind of range that that group had. Yeah, she is not my daughter. She's my, let me see how I could say this. When I married her grandmother, she was 6 years old and she came in the package. But I raised all my children. Now, she never did take my last name because that can be very confusing. She kept her father's last name, her biological father. And I've always been a first name basis, never been daddy, daddy this and daddy that. Uh, there you go. Like I explained the other day, I like for her to be. Here's the deal: when she's riding with me, she's my woman, the woman that rides with me, and then also it keeps people off in her back. You know, she just wants to be free and independent, and with the surname of daddy or father or whatever. Um, she has chosen to go this way. I have no choice, and I mean, I don't make the rules around here. She T-Bone. She's had a kind of a hard life living here with elderly people, but she endures. I am her rock. I never vary from what I am every day. We don't wake up in a different attitude, a different life. When my children are all together, when my family, there's no her kid, his kid, my kid, their kids. They're just family. It's just our family. Thank you, T-Bone. See, what happened is, I believe Brown Chicken asked the other day about Angelique, and I tried to explain it the best I could about our unique situation, and we made some promises. I promised my wife that I would take her ashes and put them on Mount Baker in Washington. So when her time came, Angelique and I took her ashes to Mount Baker in Washington. That's north of Seattle. And we deposited her ashes up in a river that she loved in up there in Darrington, Washington, up on Mount Baker. And I promised her, I guess it might have been Brown Chicken that might have asked the question. I promised her that I would take care of Angelique, her granddaughter. And hey, make a promise, that's where it's got to be. No, yeah, we don't see it that way. You know, family is just family. We got a wide, diverse family. It varies in color and texture. I myself married a Cherokee woman and had two Cherokee children, Donald and Cindy. Um, their mother has passed on. They went to her funeral in Arizona, and she was buried in Indian style, with the Indian ceremonies. She was so rich in the Cherokee culture. She was not one of them bleeding heart people that give me something. America owes me something. Give me something. No, they helped build America. Her father was a major in the U.S. Army. He was a graduate of Tahlequah Indian Academy, Tahlequah, Oklahoma, and took his rank and went into the Army and become a major for the U.S. Army. A proud American citizen. Oh, sick. I appreciate that, buddy. I really do. When y'all say kind words about me, sometimes I'll be busy talking, and I don't look back and see that you said something kind, but I know you're a kind human being. I've seen the work that you do. I've had a lot of families over the years. I have a ham radio family. Well, you heard the other day, I was in the middle of, might have been Motorbomb, Virginia's broadcast. I got a telephone call. I hadn't spoke to this guy in a few years. When somebody calls you, chances are it's about somebody dying. When you're 84 years old, the life cycle is being completed by a lot of people. And sure enough, it was a death event. And hello, Mr. Brown Chicken. I hope I spoke to you earlier. If I didn't, people need people, and that's with Angelique. She needs me, but I really need her more, and she's going to stick it out to the very end with me. That's a promise she made me, and if she decided to leave tomorrow, that's her business. I don't have nothing to do with that. There, speaking of leaving, there she comes now. What are you looking for, babe?
There's Doggy.
She didn't want to be on the camera. Watch it. She getting my dog out of bed. Here she comes. There she goes. Oh, Theo. See, I got out of bed and Theo went up there and got on my pillow. Sick, I'm just like you. My dogs are like my children. Oh, you're blessed to have your dad, Motorbomb. You're blessed there. Be safe, Jim. We're looking forward to that video of you and your, when you went and try out the Tri-Glide. Yeah, I love my dogs. And here's what happened. Last night was the first cool night we've had since last March, and it dropped down into the 50s. Well, my little buddy came over the side of the bed over there. He's got a bed right at the foot of the bed, but he came over on my side and he went, ruff. I said, what do you want? So I didn't pay him no attention. I figured he'd go get back in his bed. And then he gave me a little woof. I looked over the side of the bed and he was standing in his little eyes in the dark. The light was shining through the window over there and his little eyeballs. I reached him up. Man, he come over and laid right against my side. he put his little nose right up near my armpit there, and I laid my arm on him a little bit, and then when I rolled over on the right side, he went down by my feet and he slept there the rest of the night. But when I got up out of bed, he went up there and crawled on my pillow. Oh, heck yes. To pass away at that age. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, man. Well, our heart goes out for the people of Florida. Give me a little booger. Well, guys, I'm not leaving because you just got here, but I promised Angelique, I'll be there in a minute, babe. I promised Angelique that I would get off the live feed here. I've been going for 3 hours and 13 minutes. And I-75 South. We have communities that was hit in 2011 here in Alabama that are still gone. They were wiped out and they never recovered. We had a large outbreak of tornadoes. Alabama had 34 tornadoes on the ground on that day. An EF4 and an EF5 came to my house. The EF5 tore a 4-foot hole in my roof and tore all my trees down. Well, with that, I think I will honor my promise to her. We're an open book family here. Anybody have any questions about anything about us? We're more than happy to share it with you. We just thought it'd be, since she started riding with me, it would be a good route to go. And it's worked out really good for us. She has total freedom to do whatever she wants to do, and we're going to make sure that that opportunity stays that way. She owns everything that I own, everything, all the land, everything that I own is hers, everything. And I don't own much, but my account, all the money in the bank, all that stuff is already on all my statements. It's got her name. It says on the date of birth, a date of death, the day I die. She comes alive. She's gonna be on the market. God bless you. Thanks everybody that come and joined the old Mack here on his channel. I don't know what you call it, on his live stream. And y'all have a great weekend. And I'm gonna have a great weekend because I'll probably put it on a video. Love each and every one of you. It's an unconditional love. I'll do anything I can do for you. That's a promise. Bye now.